All right, what's up, my friends? Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We go right into it. We have exclusive details on who's broadcasting the merged XFL-USFL League. There's big changes on the way. So in the wake of the highly discussed merger, you all know it by now. The question is, who is going to be the broadcast partner? So some significant developments, sources are telling us, is that all games will be broadcast over the air on network television, specifically ABC, Fox, and NBC. The aim here is straightforward: get as many eyes on the product as possible, making it free. We know on XFL News Hub that when games were on broadcast television, traffic to the site was much bigger. Same goes for when games were on the USFL and when they were on Fox and NBC versus cable channels. There was just more eyeballs on the product, and that's what they want to do. One of the most telling indicators about the future partnership, or lack thereof, is a source that broke the news of the USFL-XFL merger. The story wasn't leaked or announced by ESPN, which is always the one that always breaks the stories. It was by Axios that took the lead on this one. So Axios is owned by Cox Communication, the third largest cable company in the U.S. Maybe there's some kind of relationship somewhere around there, but it was very telling, at least for me, that ESPN was not the one to break this story. Could be an indication that they're, and you got to remember, Fox Sports is in direct competition with ESPN. So previous XFL games were accessible via ESPN Plus, a paid streaming service. This arrangement required fans to subscribe to catch all the action. Well, however, have you noticed that all the XFL games are now moving to YouTube, which is free? So could there be something along those lines when it comes to that? And that's kind of another indicator. And they've been doing this for a while. I would say the last couple months, because I went on there to look at a couple. I was like, oh, let me watch a couple games. And I'm like, there's no games. So if you go to ESPN Plus and type in XFL in the search, you're not going to get anything. So what it means for ESPN's involvement with the merged league, the situation becomes more nuanced when you consider, of course, the battle between ESPN and Fox Sports. ESPN has been the go-to platform for numerous sporting events, but with Fox looking to expand its influence in the world of sports, especially given Latkins Murdoch's long-term vision for the USFL, the room for ESPN in the landscape might not be the way they want to. And I think maybe the strategic move is forget cable, because all that stuff is kind of going away, and the cable is essentially going to be paid streaming services like Netflix and ESPN Plus, which supposedly could be sooner rather than later in the next year or two about ESPN Plus. I don't know if they're going to leave cable. I don't know what's going on there. But putting all this product on old-fashioned television seems to be what the move is. I mean, look at Monday Night Football is on ABC now, simulcast on there. So the same marginalization of ESPN, getting more coverage on Fox Sports. So potentially you could see guys, I know, Colin Cowherd making the announcement or talking about this merged league more than, say, a Pat McAfee, who I'd much rather have Pat McAfee do it. Way more popular than Colin Cowherd. But when Colin Cowherd can take a break from complaining about Aaron Rodgers and LeBron James, maybe he can get into talking about this league. But really didn't. I mean, we kind of had a little bit of coverage from ESPN. They did have that show, which was not publicized. They did get rid of the host of that show, wound up losing his job at ESPN. So they tried to do something, a little pregame before with ESPN. Didn't really put any juice behind it. Fox did no juice whatsoever behind the USFL. So it'll be interesting to see going forward how that transpires. FS1, for example, was absent from the conversation, and rumors suggest that FS1 could be sold off as Disney is contemplating unloading. So that's kind of another reason why we're just kind of moving away from cable, and all the games will be shown on over broadcast television. Now, the framework for the new league is well laid out, and sources tell us it's basically done at this point. There's just contractual complexities to navigate, not to mention legal clearances. You have approval from the National Labor Relations Board and the Federal Trade Commission, because they're cutting staff potentially. So there's going to be people losing jobs. There's a union. And remember, Fox is also a publicly traded company. So there's all this kind of stuff happening at once. There is a major shift change in the world, in the media world going on right now. You have the strike, the writer strike, which might be coming to an end because it's dealing with streaming. So you have all this craziness going on, and Disney's trying to unload on ABC. ESPN is trying to figure out where they're going to be in this world. So This is all kind of crazy stuff. So Fox corporate moves, of course, Rupert Murdoch just retired. His son is taking over. The good news is that his son has always been a strong supporter of the USFL since its inception, viewing it as a long-term venture for Fox. So I guess, in effect, for all of these players, it makes sense to have pro football on broadcast television because that's the only thing people are watching live. So put it all on broadcast television. Who cares about cable? And ride with it. So all three of these players, which CBS would be out, would be televising the games. What happens afterwards? But most likely Fox and Peacock. You could stream games. I would assume, depending on how the ESPN relationship is, games on ABC might be streamed on ESPN Plus, but it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. But I'm all for it. Everybody that I've talked to is all for the broadcasting. Forget about cable. Forget about putting it on FS1 or Fox Sports 1 or any of these other cable channels when, basically the ratings were in 200,000. And you also notice that too. A lot of the sources for the television ratings are going away because the ratings are so bad that they just don't want to broadcast it, put it out there anymore. So that's what we have. It was exclusive XFL News Hub. So stay with XFL News Hub. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more of the breaking news of this XFL-USFL merger. We've got it all. We've got our sources, and we've been kicking butt, giving you the latest information. So stay tuned, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.